Hey, Supernatural fans, and my good buddy Kevin. This is Kevin Zimmerman's 1967. The car's name is Frances. I call her hero number one. Frances here is basically, if any part was brand new on this car has gotten it. And we've got a Hotchkiss suspension up front, big heavy duty sway bar, our tubular A-arms, the drilled and slotted disc brakes, everything, correct power booster, everything on this car is matching hero number one. New steering linkages. Now you're going to see this thing dirty because I've been bead blasting. And so we'll come up here and talk a little bit about the bead blasting. Don told me that it would take 4 bags to do this. It's going to take 8. 4 bags got almost halfway through. And so I'm going to be bringing some more material back down Monday when I come back from the city. And but all the scale and glue and everything is being really blasted off this car. And it's looking really, really good. Don and Mike have cut a quarter panel off a parts car that we had in the parking lot. And Jason Waller, if you're listening, this came off the car that I came and got from you. So the quarter panel, which is right here, the original, this thing had been hit, and Don just said it was better to go with this one. So yeah, there's some rot at the bottom, but that will be patched and no problem. And this thing is not welded in right now, so it's just sitting in there. And they get a tight fit when they do their work. They're craftsmen. That's what I love about this shop, the craftsmanship that goes into it. And this thing is looking really, really good. So, and then all the rest of the paint off the doors and stuff like that as off. And then of course I got to come back here on Monday and do the dirty job of blasting all this off. And this right here, what you see, that's like glue from the previous vinyl top and stuff that was on it. So this is all going to get blasted out, and the car will be cleaned. And Michael's tore apart the dash and everything. So it's getting really close because we got the big block coming back from the machine shop next week, or that's what we've been told. And so the engine drive shaft or transmission drive shaft will all be going back in this car. Engine's been built, machined and balanced and everything. We're going to put the top end on it with the aluminum heads, aluminum intake, and the big old Holley carburetor and everything. And I know, yes, I said Holley carburetor. I don't like Holleys, but this one is actually a really, really nice carburetor, and it's called the Avenger. I'm a fan of the Avenger. So anybody out there listening to this, I do love the Holley Avenger. So that's all going to be all stabbed. We got new U-joints in it. The transmission is sitting over here, and all these parts that you see, everything stacked up, these are Kevin's parts, and they're going onto this car. But there is the 400 turbo transmission with a shift kit in it, new clutches, everything. This thing is new. We've got a stall converter. Everything's getting ready to go in this bad boy, and it's going to be really nice. Now on the rear of this car, this is a 12-bolt rear end, original rear end, and we found out that the axles in the car were wore out, and basically we could not put new bearings because of the groove in the axle. So we had new axles put in this car. We got 355 gear posi traction, and it's all done by Yukon. And Yukon makes some really good heavy duty stuff, and there is the Yukon logo right there on that axle. So I'm going to kind of get underneath here the best I can and kind of talk about this. So down here, I know you really can't see this, but everything is Hotchkiss. We've got the Hotchkiss trailing arms, upper and lower. We've got the Hotchkiss rear sway bar, and Hotchkiss, and which you cannot see because it has a stainless steel gas tank, which I just fell in love with this gas tank. It's got a Hotchkiss panhand bar on it, and everything brand new. This thing is ready. Got brand new brakes, all rebuilt back here. Brand new shocks. The shocks are painted white. Now I always go with a Monroe. They were a Sensatrack, and then they've changed their name to, oh God, I can't remember, OER or something like that. But on Hero 1, the car actually has air shocks, Monroe air shocks, and they're white. And I hate air shocks. Anybody that's ever had air shocks, you'll understand what I'm talking about. They leak and just horrible, horrible, horrible. So I've taken these, the Sense of Track is for a real good, smooth ride. And I put those on there, and then we painted them white to match Hero number one's shocks. So they look the same. And rear end's been stripped down and painted. This car has been undercoated. There's the new fuel lines, new gas tank, new